What is good, guys? Welcome back to video number 2 of YouTube. So first of all, the 5 lessons that I have learned from being in photoshoot prep for roughly the last 8 weeks with still 4 weeks to go. And as you can see, I'm enjoying a Sprite because that's the only thing that I'm allowed from McDonald's, and also fizzy drinks that are sugar free are a bit of a cheat code. So lesson number 1 is meal timing. So many people mess this up, and it's one of the most important things that, if you get right, can make your phase of losing weight so much more easier. For me, I was actually skipping breakfast, well, having a late breakfast. So I usually get up about 5 a.m. and then what I was doing was I wasn't having my first meal until 11 o'clock. This pretty much means that I am actually cutting my eating window shorter, but I'm also being smart about the frequency of meals that I'm having. The more frequency, the better. Whenever you have your eating window, the longer you leave gaps of eating, your hunger is only going to get worse, which means your cravings are going to get worse, which means that the process is going to feel harder. You want to look at ways of making your diet and phase easier as possible, as easy as possible. I can just about speak. And that's what I done. Meal 1 was usually at around 10 or 11 o'clock. Then I had my second meal at 1 o'clock, the 2 o'clock, not a big gap. And then I had a pre-training snack, which was usually around about 3 or 4. And then I kept dinner till later on in the evening because that's where I get most hungry. And that's a really important thing as well, is you gotta realize when you get hungry and when your cravings are worse. For me, I love sitting in the evening, snacking, popcorn, all that kind of stuff, and that's when my cravings are worse. So I, every evening, have my dinner at about 8 or 9 o'clock, and then I have a big Greek yogurt bowl after that, which is around about 9:30, depending what time I'm going to bed at. It should be earlier, but sure, we all probably need more sleep than what we get. Lesson number 2 is that I chose foods that were high in volume, and all that really means is that you get loads of volume of food for low calories. So think of like salads, etc. will be low calories, but you get loads of volume compared to eating like peanut butter. And the reason why this works so well is because there's 9 grams or 9 calories per gram of fat, and then there's 4 calories per carbohydrates and protein, which means that if you focus more on the carbohydrates and the protein side, you take up a big portion of your diet out of the 3 macronutrients, which is your fats, your carbs, your protein. That's going to be the thing that is going to make dieting or cutting or trying to lose weight easier. So I focused on big high volume meals, so big salads, low calorie noodles with like lettuce and stir fries, potatoes, because they're very satiating foods, which means that they're going to keep you fuller for longer. So it's really about having high volume food to keep you fuller for longer, because most people end up with their diet looking high in fat, low in protein, and usually high in carbs, which means that they need to eat loads and loads of calories to actually get full. Instead, if you reversed it around, focused on high volume foods, you would end up being fuller far quicker, and your cravings would be a lot less. And also, it is absolutely roasting in this car right now, which I wasn't really expecting in Northern Ireland, but I'll take it. Happy days. Lesson number 3, weight loss stalls at times, even whenever you're doing all the right things. And this is something that whenever you're on a weight loss journey, you gotta understand that your weight will not just be in a linear process, and it will not just drop. And if I told you that across the last 8 or 9 weeks that I haven't got frustrated with a scale and with the weight on the scale, I'd be absolutely lying to you. It's done my head in. Sometimes in the morning, it's literally like ruined my morning, because I've been like, for goodness sake, I'm doing so much here and I'm not feeling like I'm reaping the rewards. I'm up 0.3 kilos from yesterday. But the biggest thing I would say is that the relationship that you have with a scale is so important, and it's something that I have got a lot better with, because I weigh myself every day and I weigh myself in the morning, which is going to be the next point, but I'm going to get on that. But honestly, if you're on a weight loss journey, you gotta get good with the scale. You gotta understand that weighing yourself is part of the process, and that the scale is not the enemy, and that your weight will fluctuate up and down, because you gotta take in the fact of how much salt you're having, how much water you had the day before, how many carbohydrates you had, the foods that you're eating, your stress levels. There's so much things that dictate what way your weight goes. And the more that I focused on how I looked, how I felt, you know, when I done my progress photos, how did I look, when I attached myself to that, not just the weight, it made the journey so much more rewarding. And even, like, you know, I have to say, in this journey, it's been amazing, the amount of people that have, you know, been saying to me, how are you getting on with the photo shoot, you know, you're looking great, etc. And, you know, like, that all helps, because everyone knows that on a journey, it has its highs and lows. It has its, you know, days where you feel great, and it has its days where you feel like you're going backwards. And, you know, I think that's when you know you're doing something right, because on a journey of whether it's getting in shape, whether it's losing weight, whether it's trying to hit a performance goal, there's days where it feels like it's all going wrong, and, you know, the scale can sometimes make you feel like it's all going wrong. So the more that I built a good relationship with the scale, the better it's been. Lesson number 4 is the frequency of weighing yourself is a very, very useful tool, and you got to do it at the same time and under the same sort of circumstances. And what I mean by that is, I always, first thing in the morning, get up and I'll actually weigh myself first thing. If you have a wee piss, that there makes a big difference. You know, you're talking half a kilo maybe from that, so you got to do that. But yes, the big thing is frequency and consistency with weighing yourself. And what you're able to do, and what I've been doing, is you take your weight across the last 7 days and then you divide it by how many times you've weighed yourself. The more times you weigh yourself across the days, obviously you don't weigh yourself more than once a day, because that would be absolutely mental, and that's building a bad relationship. But weighing yourself once a day, every day at around about the same time, gives you more consistency and lets you actually know, right, if I look back the last Thursday, say, at this time, what was my weight? Right, last Thursday my weight was actually 79 kilo. This week it's 78.5. Flip, I'm actually making progress. So if you keep all the data of your frequency of weighing in, it allows you to realize across, you know, the weeks, the months, are you actually making progress, and it allows you to take weight fluctuations into things a wee bit better. Lesson number 5. That's near done. That's not good. But anyway, lesson number 5 is that you need to have food every day that you actually enjoy and actually look forward to eating. If you have food that is literally miserable to eat, you don't like the taste of it, and you're only eating it because you think it's good for you, that's a road to no town. Every meal, every snack I have, I enjoy, and something that I've become very good at is finding the right things to make food nice that's low calorie. So whether that's sugar-free syrups, whether that's using, you know, specific foods and herbs and spices and stuff to make things nice. And by the way, sriracha is a goat. Just saying, sriracha is the goat to the cut. But I like to have sort of different condiments for each sort of meal and snacks and stuff to make it different. And this has been a crucial part of this, because I'm eating near enough the same thing every single day, the same meals, same snacks. But the other thing that's very, very useful is to have a meal a week that you go, I can't wait to have that. And this is something that Lois and me have been doing. We've been having a Yoshi on a Saturday night, which, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like a healthy Chinese. It's like a healthy street Chinese food in East Belfast. And if you haven't had it and you're in Northern Ireland, check it out. It's unbelievable, and it's been a saviour. Lois and me get a honey chili chicken with boiled rice, and we get that every Saturday night, and it's our wee treat. But we look forward to that so much. And this is what it's about. It's about making it in a way that it's enjoyable. And don't get me wrong, this journey has been one of the hardest things I've done, because I love food. But the biggest thing with this is realizing that you've got to have things, you got to have food that you enjoy. You don't want to have meals that are making you miserable and snacks that are making you miserable. Like my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, my snacks, I love them, I enjoy them. So when you're on a journey of losing weight and trying to better your nutrition, make sure that you enjoy the food, because if you don't, there's no hope of you sticking to it long term. And let's be real, getting into great shape and sustaining it long term is all about consistency long term, because it doesn't happen overnight, it takes time. So these are my 5 lessons that I have experienced and I have learnt from doing photoshoot prep. I have 4 weeks left to go. There's going to be videos coming up, and there's going to be me videoing and recording the actual day of the shoot, which I'm very, very excited to see what kind of physique I can bring. And hopefully these 5 lessons have been useful for you. And I'm going to get out of this car because I am absolutely roasting now. Cheers.